Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to take a start with IELTS reading, and I'll give you some tips and techniques. Please follow me carefully, right? And we will solve a variety of questions. Smile, right? Because after 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to be sad, right? So now you can smile at least in the beginning, and later on, let's see how you feel. रीडिंग इम्प्रूव नहीं हो रही, बड़े मसाइल ने एग्जैक्टली सो कोई न्याज दिया करे रीडिंग की. एंड आई गॉट सम एक रीडिंग के लिए तावीज़ है, बाजू पे बांधना है, उसके बाद देखें कमाल. ये आगे एक तावीज़. ओके ये ओके गुड. सो लेट्स टेक अ स्टार्ट. First of all, you have to read the title of the passage. What's the title? Alexander Henderson. Whenever the title is the name of a person, it means it's going to be a biography. Whenever title is name of a person, it means it's the biography. And then they've given the years 1831 to 1913. Born in Scotland, Henderson immigrated to Canada in 1855. He did that in 1855, and now you guys want to do it in 2022. And became a well-known landscape photographer. Now we understand, not photographer, photographer. This is called stress pattern, okay? So Alexander Henderson was a photographer. It means we are going to learn about the life of a photographer, how he became famous, he migrated to Canada, and all that. All clear? Right? Now you can visualize someone from Scotland and who migrated to Canada, a photographer. After this, you will come to questions. The first 8 questions are true, false, not given. And they are type A questions. Type A means questions and answers are in order. Okay, so questions and answers are going to be in order. That's why we call them type A questions. And the second question type from 9 to 13, that is one word only. And that is also type A. Questions and answers are going to be in order. So luckily, all these questions are type A, true, false, not given, and sentence completion you can easily answer. Now, let's go on. True, false, not given. Remember, they have given you certain statements and you got to read the question statement, and from question statement there will be a word or a phrase which is going to decide whether it is true, false, or not given. So whenever you read the question, by the way, questions and answers are in order. The first question or finding the answer to first question may take more time, but after that they are in sequence, right? So you can easily find other answers. Now, Henderson rarely is adverb, and sometimes they give adverb, and that's what you have to match to see whether answer is true, false, or not given. I'm reading question number 1. Everyone, question number 1, true, false, not given. Henderson rarely visited area around Press Estate when he was younger. Now look here. If Henderson rarely means seldom. If Henderson seldom visited the area around Press Estate in his childhood, answer is true. And if he spent most of his childhood in the Press Estate area when he was young and all that, then the answer is false. And if they don't tell us the frequency, rarely or seldom, then the answer is not given. Now listen, whenever you read the question, you must find a clue word. So over here, clue word is not Henderson. All the passage is about Henderson. Clue word is not rarely. They will replace it. But this word Press Estate. So the clue word is Press Estate. Please come back. First paragraph. Okay, I'm reading first paragraph from third line. The family had. Everyone there? Yes. Please make sure your neighbors are there as well. The family had extensive land holdings in Scotland. Besides its residence in Edinburgh, it owned Press Estate, 650 acres of farmland about 35 miles southeast of the city. The family often stayed at Press Castle, the large mansion on the northern edge of the property, and Alexander spent much of his childhood in the area. Which area? Press Castle. Yeah, Press Castle. Press Estate is gone. They did not say that he spent much of his time there. Try to focus again. Read it again. Family often stayed at Press Castle, the large mansion on the northern edge of the property, and Alexander spent much of his childhood in the area. The area means Press Castle. Now we come back. Henderson rarely visited area around Press Castle when he was younger. Press Estate rarely visited the area. Now they did not mention what did they do. They actually changed the area. Instead of Press Estate, they used the word Press Castle. So the answer will be false. That's right. It's not given. No, it's not given. It's false. Because they changed the name of the area. Information is given. Where he spent his childhood, that is given. Where he went, actually that is given. They only changed two things. One is rarely, and second, opposite of rarely is most of his time. And then they changed the place also. So the answer will be false. Let's go on. Henderson, okay, if we convert this statement into true, question number 1, let's convert it into true. Henderson mostly visited the area around Press Estate when he was younger. This will be the true statement. Okay, yeah, this will be true. Question number 2. Henderson pursued a business career because it was what his family wanted. Just a second, focus the question. He pursued a business career because of his family. So if he pursued, try to understand the question. Without understanding the question, if you're looking for answer, you're wasting your time. And you're not learning anything from me. Focus the question. If Henderson pursued a business career because his family wanted him to become a businessman, answer is true. If he pursued a business career because he wanted to become a businessman, then it is false. And if the reason is unknown, why he pursued business career, because of his family or because of his personal reasons, then the answer is not given. So let's go back. Second paragraph, third line. Although he never liked the prospect of a business career, from here we understand, although he never liked the prospect of a business career, he stayed with it. It means business. He stayed business career. He stayed with it to please his family. Come back. Henderson pursued a business career because it was what his family wanted. And for that they said to please his family. So the answer is true, absolutely. Underline the sentences in the passage where there is the answer, so when you go back home, you guys can practice. Just write true over there, just write true over there, like this. Clear? Okay, very good. Let's go on. Henderson and Noteman were surprised. Now look here, what you got to check. Because true, false, not givens are usually based on such type of things. If both were surprised by the results of their 1865 experiment. If they were surprised, answer is true. If they were not surprised, they were expecting that, then answer is false. And if one was surprised, one was not surprised, even then it will be false. And if they don't tell us whether they were surprised or they were expecting that, the word surprised is not mentioned, then it will be not given. Now, surprised by the results of their 1865 experiment. And what's the clue word? 1865. Absolutely. Okay, third paragraph, and we have 1865 there. Now, I'm going to read it from third line. The two men, found it? Yes, sir. Third line after full stop. The two men made a photographic excursion in Niagara Falls in 1860, and they cooperated on experiments with magnesium flares as a source of artificial light in 1865. They belonged to the same societies and all that. Now, did they mention anything that this experiment with magnesium surprised them, or they were expecting it? No, there isn't any mention of surprise and all that, so the answer is not given. Absolutely. So far, so good? Yeah, good job. Let's go on. Question number 4. There were many similarities, underline many similarities, there were many similarities between Henderson's early landscape and those of Noteman. Now, if there were many similarities between Henderson and Noteman, answer is true. If there were few similarities, then the answer is false. And otherwise, if they don't tell us many similarities or few, then it is not given. So please come back. Fourth paragraph. In spite of their friendship, the word there means Noteman and Henderson. In spite of their friendship, their styles of photography were quite different. Now, when they say quite different, and over here they say many similarities. So, many similarities and quite different, they are opposite. So, the answer is very good. Yeah, it's a very good thing that you understand. The questions are simple, so you can easily understand them. Let's go on. Okay, now we have question number 5. Studio that Henderson opened in 1866. Two words, studio and 1866. Was close to his home. Listen here. If the studio was close to his home, answer is? If it was far from his home, false. And if they don't tell us near or far, wow, near, far, wherever you are. Which song? Near, far, wherever you are. Yeah, Titanic song. Okay, good. So let's go back. 1866. The next page, please. In 1866, found it? Next page, next page. In 1866, he gave up his business to open a photographic studio, advertising himself as a portrait and landscape photographer from about 1870. Now, did they mention that the studio was close to his house or far from his house? No. So the answer is? Wow, good. At least you guys have good understanding why not given, because they did not mention. So for true, false, not given, you must make sure that if this is given, it is true. If this is not given, then it is false, and otherwise not given. Please come back. Question number 6. Henderson gave up portraiture so that he could focus on taking photographs of scenery. Underline portraiture and scenery. Now, gave up means he left. If Henderson gave up portraiture so that he could focus on taking photographs of scenery, it's true. But if he gave up scenery so that he could focus on portraiture, then the answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether he gave up one thing or the other one, then it is not given. What are the clue words? Portraiture and scenery. Same paragraph. Second line. From about 1870. Found it? Yes. Everyone? Good. From about 1870, he dropped portraiture. Dropped means gave up. Read on. To specialize in landscape, photography, and other views. So the answer is false. Good. Excellent. Just wanted to see, I heard a voice of false. पकड़ना था चोर नहीं पकड़ा गया. All right, बच गए हो जो भी है. Okay. Answer is true. Why true? Because he dropped portraiture. Drop means gave up. Absolutely. Question number 7. When Henderson began, sometimes when the first 7-8 questions are very easy, get ready. The rest of the test can be difficult, okay? Yeah, and if part 1, first 7-8 questions are difficult, rest of the test can be easy. But anyways, let's see, don't worry. Question number 7, when Henderson began work for the Intercolonial Railway. What's the clue word? Intercolonial Railway. When Henderson began work for the Intercolonial Railway, Montreal to Halifax line had been finished. Now look here. When he started the work, railway, the railway line work had been finished. If the work had been finished, answer is true. If the work was still going on, answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether the work finished or work was still going on, then the answer is not given. So let's see Intercolonial Railway. Intercolonial Railway, third last paragraph. Third last paragraph, and there they have mentioned it. I'm reading it from 5th line, that same year. Third last paragraph, 5th line, that same year. Found it? Yes, everyone? Yes, please make sure your neighbor is on the right place. Yes, good. Okay. That same year, while in the lower St. Lawrence River region, he took some photographs of the construction of the Intercolonial Railway. Now listen, this undertaking led in 1875 to a commission from the railway to record the principal structures along the almost completed line. Almost completed. What does that mean? It was still in progress. Almost completed means it was not completed. Almost completed line connecting Montreal to Halifax. Now come back. When Henderson began work for the Intercolonial Railway, the Montreal to Halifax line had been finished. No, almost completed. So almost completed does not mean completed. Information is contradictory. Answer is? Answer is? Well done, no doubt, huh? Good job, very good. Question number 8. Henderson's last work. Now underline the word last. You know, they play like this. And these words, and you will again find these words somewhere. Right? In true, false, not given, the word last, word rarely, these words repeat. If you solve 8 to 10 reading tests, then you will realize, when I solve a test, because I know all these things, so I know where they are going to play or what they are going to play with. Henderson's last work as a photographer was with the Canadian Pacific Railway. Last work, Canadian Pacific Railway. Last paragraph, second last paragraph. Second last paragraph, second last line. He continued in this post. Can you see CPR? CPR is Canadian Pacific Railway. Last paragraph, second last paragraph, and there they say, I'm reading the last line. He continued in this post until 1897 when he retired completely from photography. So when he retired, last job was Canadian Pacific Railway, 1897. What is the question? Henderson's last work as a photographer was with Canadian Pacific Railways. Answer is true. Got it? Clear? Okay. Let's go back to question number 1. Henderson rarely visited the area around Press Estate. Now look here. There are two things which are confusing here. One is rarely and second is Press Estate. So Henderson rarely visited the area around Press Estate when he was younger. Now please come back. Okay, I'm going to read it from third line. The family. Found it? The family had extensive land holdings in Scotland. Besides its residence in Edinburgh, it owned Press Estate, 650 acres of farmland, about 35 miles southeast of the city. Okay, the family had, I'm reading this again for my own understanding. The family had extensive land holdings in Scotland, besides its residence in Edinburgh. It owned Press Estate, 650 acres of farmland. All right. Okay. It owned Press Estate, 650 acres of farmland, about 35 miles southeast of the city. The family often stayed at Press Castle, a large mansion on the northern edge of the property, and Alexander spent much of his childhood. Now listen, the question is about childhood of Alexander, where he spent. So he spent much of his childhood at Press Castle. He did not spend his childhood at Press Estate. They mentioned Press Estate, but it was not Press Estate where he spent his childhood. He spent his childhood there at Press Castle. That is why the answer is going to be false. Why false? Because Press Estate and Press Castle, listen, come back to the book, the definition of false. What is it? The statement contradicts the information. So what is contradictory? The name of the place. Childhood is there, but the name of the place is different, right? Okay. Alexander, question number 9 onwards, we are going to do now. Okay, Alexander Henderson, early life. Now, we've got his early life. So the first thing is, we need to find the paragraph where they give us information about his life. Right? They say here, was born in Scotland in 1831. What's the clue word? 1831. Father was a dash. Please come back. Good. 1831, first line. and was the son of a successful merchant. Son of a successful merchant means father was merchant. Now, will you write merchant or successful merchant? Because it is one word only. Yeah, some people will write successful also. Full answer, full band. Yeah, exactly. So the answer is merchant. Absolutely. After that, there is no question, and you can see there is a gap. Gap means you need to come a couple of paragraphs. Now, we come to question number 10, and that is, people bought Henderson's photos because photography took up considerable time and the dash was heavy. Listen, something related to photography was heavy. Camera was heavy and all that. And you will find this answer after 1866. So please come back. After 1866, something was heavy. Found it? Okay, it's the first paragraph on second page. First paragraph on second page. Right? Now something was heavy. Listen, look here. For heavy, look for the word weight. When something is heavy, it has weight. Right? So please look for the word weight. Yeah, the last 4 lines. I'm going to read it from 1, 2, 3, fourth last line. There was little competing hobby. Everyone found it? Please make sure. There was little competing hobby. Got it? Okay, now let's read from here. There was little competing hobby or amateur photography before the late 1880s because of the time-consuming techniques involved and the weight of the... Now listen, weight of the equipment means equipment was heavy. Absolutely. So the answer is heavy. Okay, answer is equipment. Good job. Understand? Equipment was heavy, weight of the equipment, right? He is heavy and his weight is like that, okay? They are type A questions. They are in order. हाँ मैं दसांगा अभी बताया है उधर क्या है इधर जो बताऊंगा वही उधर काम आना है अच्छा उधर ये क्वेश्चन नहीं आएंगे तो फिर हाँ आपने खुद जज करना है बाय क्वेश्चन टाइप ट्रू फॉल्स नॉट गिवन क्वेश्चंस एंड आंसर्स आर इन ऑर्डर राइट उसके बाद देन वी गॉट दिस सेंटेंस कंप्लीशन क्वेश्चंस एंड आंसर्स आर इन ऑर्डर इसको लिखते जाएं साथ साथ ठीक है Okay guys, let's go on. Question number 11 is close to question number 10. So in the next few lines you will find the answer. Question 11. Photographs Henderson sold were dash or souvenirs. Two things. Either dash or souvenirs. Answer is going to come with souvenirs, but they will replace souvenirs with something else. Please come back. Same paragraph. Same paragraph. Third last line. People wanted to buy photographs. Now, people wanted to buy photographs mean photographs Henderson sold. Are you there? Yes. Good. People wanted to buy photographs as souvenirs of a trip or as gifts. So, first thing is souvenirs. Second is gifts. And what is written there? Yeah, gifts or souvenirs. So, the answer is gifts. Very good. All right, next, last thing, question number 12. But before question number 12, they've given 1870s and 1880s, Quebec and Ontario. Found it? Where is it? It's the third last paragraph. Now, let's read the question. I'm reading question number 12. Okay, travel widely, and then they say, took many trips along eastern rivers in a dash. In a dash means name of area, rivers. The location of, no, it can be the location of rivers or it can be the mode of transport. For example, took many trips along eastern rivers in a boat, in a ship, in a yacht or anything like that, okay? Please come back. In a. I'm reading this paragraph. Please follow me. Third last paragraph. In the 1870s and 1880s, Henderson traveled widely throughout Quebec and Ontario in Canada, documenting the major cities of the two provinces and many of the villages in Quebec. But Quebec is not the answer, okay? Don't be just misguided. He was especially fond of the wilderness and often traveled by canoe. He traveled by canoe and traveled by canoe, and there they said here, took many trips along eastern rivers in a canoe. It's a small boat, small ship, canoe. On the Blanche, that is on, not in. On the Blanche. Blanche is the name of area. Name of the river. Yeah, exactly. I've written it here. They've mentioned it down there. Name of river. Okay? So, now listen. If you put the word in a Blanche, that cannot be right. And one more thing. Blanche starts with capital B. Capital B means it's a proper noun. With the names of proper nouns, we don't use a. We can never say Lahore, London, America, not like that, okay? So this is what they check your grammatical understanding in IELTS reading. Let's go on. Question number 13. Worked for CPR. What is clue word? Canadian Pacific Railways, 1885, and photographed the dash and the railway. Two things. He photographed dash and the railway. Please come back. Third last paragraph, and I'm going to read it from second last line. Third last line. In 1885, found it? Okay. In 1885, he went west along the Canadian Pacific Railway. Everyone there? Yes, sir. Good. Third last paragraph, second last line. As far as Rogers Pass in British Columbia, where he took photographs of mountains and the progress of construction. Construction of what? Railway line. So for that they use progress of construction. What will be the answer? Mountains, absolutely. And what is for progress of construction? Railway. Because they were constructing the railway. So the correct answer is mountains. Good. Okay guys, let's go on. We've got another reading passage. Title is Back to the Future of Skyscraper Design. What is skyscraper? A tall building is called skyscraper. And they have given us subtitle as well. So back to the future of skyscraper design. It means they are going to tell us the design of future skyscrapers. And skyscraper means tall building. Right? Answers to the problem of excessive electricity use by skyscrapers. Now we understand this passage is about what? Answers to the problem of excessive electricity used by skyscrapers and large public buildings can be found in ingenious but forgotten architectural designs of the 19th and early 20th century. So they are going to talk about architectural style of 19th and earlier 20th century, and this is how we can save electricity and all that. So this is the passage, and you can see we've got A, B, C, D. Whenever we have A, B, C, D, two type of questions can be there. Number one, which paragraph contains the following information? Number two, list of headings. So we go on. Yeah, we have which paragraph contains the following information? Questions 14 to 18. Now listen, questions 14 to 18, which paragraph contains the following information? They are type B questions. Type B means questions and answers are not in order. So you will not do them first. Let's go on. Can you see questions 19 to 26? How many questions? 19 to 26. How many? 8 questions. 7 or 8 questions. Right? So they are in order. So it's a good idea to start from there and save these 7 to 8 sacred questions and find the right answers, and then you can come back. Otherwise, all your time will be wasted for questions 14 to 18. Because for 14 to 18, you have to go through entire passage. All the passage, and you're not familiar with the passage. So once you do 19 to 26, you will be familiar with the passage, and then you can come back to that, right? Remember, the way you approach and attempt your IELTS reading, that matters a lot. It's not that you have to follow the sequence they have given. You should always follow the sequence that type A questions first and type B questions last. Now, ventilation in the 19th century, and you can see the question type is summary completion. How many summaries they have given us? 2 summaries. Now, first of all, I want you all to look for the word Professor Ellen Short examined the work of John Shaw. John Shaw and Ellen Short. John Shaw. Okay, D paragraph. Now, it means you have found the location. Paragraph is D. So, don't read the question first. First, you need to find the location. Once you find the location, then you read the question. Otherwise, if you read the question and then you try to find the location, by the time you find the location, you will forget the question. And then once again, you will come back to read the question. So the best thing is just see, okay, Ellen Short and John Shaw Billing, that is what I need to find. Once you locate the right part, then you can just read it. Now, I'm going to read question number 19. Please follow me. Professor Ellen Short examined the work of John Shaw Billings, who means John Shaw Billings, who influenced the architectural dash of hospitals to ensure they had good ventilation. Architectural dash of hospitals, something related to hospitals. Please come back. Paragraph D. Follow me. I'm going to read it. Paragraph D. Everyone, please follow me. Short's book highlights a developing and sophisticated art and science of ventilating buildings through the 19th and earlier 20th centuries, including the design of ingeniously ventilated hospitals. Right? Of particular interest were those built the designs of John Shaw Billings. So, hospitals, what is it that he changed about hospitals? Designs, okay, architectural, very good. Now please read again if you're still confused. Read again. From here, of particular interest were those built to the designs of Shaw Billings, include the first John Hopkins Hospital in the US. So what is it that he changed? Architectural design. Design is the right answer. Got it? If you're still confused, go back, read again. You can write design or designs. In the passage, they've written designs. Who influenced the architectural designs of hospitals to ensure they had good ventilation. What is the word for good ventilation? Ingeniously ventilated hospitals. Of particular interest were those built to the designs of John Shaw Billings. And for John Shaw Billings, they use the word who influenced the architectural designs. The right answer is designs. Let's go on. Question number 20. He calculated, very simple, another word for calculated. He calculated that dash in the air coming from patients suffering from dash. Now listen, now you will find both answers together. The first thing is he calculated the amount of something. And the second is suffering from. We suffer from disease. So the answer of question number 21 is going to be a disease, right? Calculated dash suffering from some certain disease. So please come back, same, it's going to be calculated. All right. Yeah, let's go on, please. We spent 3 years digitally modeling Billings' final designs, say short. We put pathogens in the airstream modeled for someone with, all right. Now one answer is tuberculosis. And what did they do? We put pathogens in the airstream. Pathogens, right. And even if you don't know the meaning of pathogens and what it is, it doesn't matter. When they say here, we put pathogens in the airstream. Let's read it completely. We put pathogens in the airstream modeled for someone with tuberculosis, coughing in the wards, and we found the ventilation system in the room would have kept other patients safe from harm. So, what's the question? Harm is not the answer. Okay? All right, please come back. All right, he calculated that dash in the air coming from patients. Now listen, what was coming from patients in the air, and that is pathogens. That's right. Go back and read it again. We put together pathogens in the airstream. Airstream means in the air. Airstream means in the air. Okay, modeled from someone with tuberculosis. Modeled with someone from tuberculosis means coming from patients. So what was coming from patients of tuberculosis? That is pathogens, and then suffering from, and they have given this disease tuberculosis. So for question number 20, answer is pathogens, and 21 tuberculosis. So you can write tuberculosis or you can write TB also. But I advise you to write tuberculosis, but make sure you write correct spelling. Okay? Now, if you don't understand, underline this thing, go back home, read it again 2 times, 3 times, 4th time, 5th time, you will say, Acha. Now I understand, okay? Yeah. Because, if you don't understand, it means your language is leaving you. Your language skill, your understanding of English is leaving you. So you need to focus again. You need to read it again and again. Let's go on. He also found that the air in the dash in hospitals, answer is the part of hospital. Airs in dash in hospitals could change. Let's read on. It's the next paragraph E. We discovered that, paragraph E, we discovered that 19th century hospital wards could generate up to 24 air changes an hour. That's similar to the performance of a modern day computer controlled operating theater. So now what is it that is related to hospital? We discovered that 19th century hospital wards. Come back to the question. He also found that the air in dash in hospitals. What will be the answer? Wards. Wards in hospitals. Hospital wards. Answer is wards, and you will write it plural as it is written in the passage. You will write it as it is. All right, question number 23. He suggests that energy use could be reduced by locating more patients in dash area. Where do we need to locate more patients? Name of area. Answer is going to be name of areas. So go on. Very next paragraph. Single rooms are not appropriate. Found it? Single rooms, please follow me. Single rooms, it's the second paragraph of E. Single rooms are not appropriate for all patients. Communal wards appropriate for certain patients. Older people with dementia, for example, come back now. What's the question? He suggests that energy use could be reduced by locating more patients in dash areas. For areas, they use the word wards. Wards are areas. So please come back. Single rooms are not appropriate for all patients. Communal wards appropriate for certain patients. Older people with dementia, for example, would work just as. So the answer is going to be communal. And for wards, he used the word areas. Communal areas. Now we have a separate paragraph. Separate paragraph means different location. So let's read this. A major reason for improving ventilation in 19th century hospital was the demand from the dash. Demand from the government, demand from authorities, demand from council, demand from people, whatever. So please come to paragraph F. Much of the ingenuity present in 19th century hospitals and building design was driven by a panicked public. Driven by panicked public. Now we have to select one word. Public. Panic means डरी हुई आवाम. Like, people were afraid to go to the hospital. They would catch the diseases in the past. So, yeah, exactly. Panicked public. Driven by panicked public and demand from. Now, demand from and driven by. They are synonyms. Driven by government, demand from government. So, over here they said panics, they use the word Yeah, driven by a panicked public. So answer is public. Because it's one word only, we cannot write panicked. Let's go on. For protection against bad air, known as the specific scientific name of bad air. Read on. Bad air known as. Just read on. Exactly. Public clamoring for building that could protect against what was thought to be the lethal threat of miasmas toxic air. Now, whenever they write miasmas dash toxic air means they are defining it. So, what is the word for toxic? No. Bad, exactly. Toxic and bad, they are synonyms. Air is air, and known as, they've got this specific name, miasmas. So you will write miasmas as it is. And by the way, see that you don't need to know the meaning of miasmas. There are several words, there are several words that you don't need to know the meaning of, and still you can solve your reading. There are technical terminologies, take them as they are, right? Okay, let's go on. Last question. These were blamed for the spread of disease for hundreds of years, okay, including epidemics dash in London and Paris in the middle of 19th century. A disease in London and Paris in the middle of 19th century. Same paragraph. Okay, I'm going to read it from fourth line. Paragraph F, please follow me, fourth line. Miasmas were feared as the principal agents of disease and epidemics for centuries and were used to explain the spread of infection from the Middle Ages. From the Middle Ages, then they say right through to the cholera outbreak in London and Paris during 1850s. Got it? Exactly. So answer is cholera with correct spelling. Is this all clear? Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Questions 14 to 18. Now we do which paragraph contains the following information. This question type is solely based on scanning. What is it based on? Scanning. So it's a good idea if you guys read all the questions first, and then you can start scanning and all that. Let's see. Question number, and by the way, questions and answers are not in order. Don't expect them. If they're in order, then it's not difficult. Question number 14. Why some people avoided hospitals in the 19th century? You read it already. F. What is written? Please come to paragraph F. Yeah. Because of miasmas, and they say driven by panic, public clamoring for building that could protect against what was thought to be the lethal. So they say much of ingenuity present in 19th century hospitals and building design was driven by a panicked public clamoring for building that could protect against what was thought to be the lethal threat of miasmas toxic air that spread disease. कहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है? Read on. All right, yeah. Miasmas were feared as the principal agent of disease and epidemics for centuries and were used to explain the spread of infection from the Middle Ages right through the cholera outbreak in London. All right, then they say, okay, foul air rather than germs was believed to be the main driver of hospital fever. Now, what is hospital fever? It doesn't mean hospital जाके जो बुखार चढ़ता है उसको कहते हैं, study fever. Yeah, fear of hospital. So the word hospital fever means fear of hospitals. Fever means what? No, over here. But actually, what is fear? What is fever? You say I'm suffering from fever. Yeah, bukhar. Absolutely. But hospital fever means the phobia of hospitals. Okay. So question number 14. Answer is F. Please come to question number 15. A suggestion that the popularity of tall buildings is linked to prestige. If the building is tall, it shows the prestige of country. For example, in UAE, we have Burj Khalifa because of the prestige of the country, right? They've got such tall building. Now just find a paragraph, tall building. Tall building means skyscrapers, and they are linked to prestige. Go to paragraphs A, B, C. I help you. A, B, C. A, B, C. Tall buildings linked to prestige. Tall building is skyscrapers. Symbol of status. Symbol of status means linked to prestige. Paragraph. 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 Paragraph C. Absolutely. Come to paragraph C. Second last line. Short regards glass, steel and air conditioned. Skyscrapers as a symbol of status. What does that mean? Yes, that means suggestion that the popularity of tall buildings is linked to prestige. Linked to prestige means symbol of status. So question number 15 answer is C. Let's go on. Question number 16. A comparison between circulation of air in a 19th century building and modern standards. Circulation of air in 19th century. 19th century is past and modern standard is present. Find a paragraph. Okay. Past and present. Come on, look for past and present. Paragraph E. Everyone, please come to paragraph E. We discovered that 19th century hospital wards could generate up to 24 air changes an hour. That is similar to the performance of modern day. Now, modern day, come back to the question. Comparison between the circulation of air in 19th century. What is 19th century? 19th century hospital ward. And then they say 19th century building of modern standards. What is modern standard? Performance of modern day. That is similar to the performance of modern day computer controlled operating theater. So this comparison is given. So that is why the answer of question number 16 is E, paragraph E. Let's go on. Question number 17. How short tested the circulation of air in a 19th century building? Yeah, he calculated and all that. How short tested the circulation of air in a 19th century building? Which paragraph? D. Please come to paragraph D. Short's book highlights a developing and sophisticated art and science of ventilating buildings through the 19th and earlier 20th centuries, including the design of ingeniously ventilated hospitals. Of particular interest were those built to the designs. And if you go on and read the next paragraph, we spent 3 years digitally modeling buildings' final design, says Short. Now this is how they did. We put pathogens in the airstream, modeled for someone with tuberculosis. So what's the question? How short tested? How short tested? And the other question we did, how he calculated. These two questions are interlinked and you can see answer is there. How short tested the circulation of air in the 19th century building? So how he tested? We put pathogens in the airstream modeled for someone with tuberculosis coughing in the wards, and we found the ventilation system in the room would have kept other patients safe from harm. So this is how they actually did it. Question number 17, correct answer is? Yeah, paragraph D, D for doctor. Last, question number 18, implication that advertising led to the large increase in the use of air conditioning. Look for the word air conditioning, advertising. For advertising, they use the word marketing. Okay, please come to paragraph B. You see the word advertising and then marketing. And by the way, they use the word section B. What does it mean? Section B. Section B means paragraph. B contains how many paragraphs? 2 paragraphs. A contains how many paragraphs? 2 paragraphs. And C, 1 only. So they use the word section. If you come back to the question, which section contains the following information? When they use the word section, section may contain 1 or more than 1 paragraphs. right? So again, I come back to question number 18. Implication and that advertising led to the large increase in the use of air conditioning. Paragraph B, I'm reading it from the beginning. Short is calling for a sweeping reinvention of how skyscrapers and major public buildings are designed to end the reliance on sealed buildings which exist solely via the life support system of vast air conditioning units. Now let's look for the word marketing. Instead, I'm reading on. Instead, he shows it is entirely possible to accommodate natural ventilation and cooling in large buildings by looking into the past before the widespread introduction of air conditioning systems, which were relentlessly and aggressively marketed by their inventors. So, marketed means advertising, and air conditioning is same for question number 18. Correct answer is B. Exactly. Okay guys, let's go on. We have reading passage 3, and the first few questions are list of headings. Now list of headings, they are type A or type B? Questions and answers are not in order at all, okay? Let's read the title of the passage. Why companies should welcome disorder. Right? Why companies should welcome disorder. That's it. Now, disorder means when something is not in order. So, why companies should welcome disorder means this passage contains the reasons that if there is any disorder in the companies should welcome it, and what are the reasons behind. That's what we understand. So, questions 27 to 34. Should we start from there? No, not at all. Questions 35 to 37. One word only. Questions 38 to 40, true, false, not given. So we should start from there because these 6 questions and answers are in order. We can do them first, and by doing them, we will be familiar with the passage and we can come back. So let's start with questions 35 to 37. Complete the sentences below. This is basically sentence completion. Complete the sentences below. Choose one word only from the passage. Okay, now we are not familiar with the passage, so we will use scanning technique first after reading the question. Question number 35. Numerous training sessions are aimed at people who feel they are not. They means people. You should be very clear about it. Numerous training sessions are aimed at people who feel that they are not dash enough. Now, what they are not? Please start from the first paragraph. First paragraph. I'm reading it from second line. Second paragraph, second line, we are told that. Found it? Title, passage, second paragraph, second line, we are told that. Got it? Now please read with me carefully. We are told that we ought to self-organization than at any other time in human history. Sorry, I read it wrong. We are told that we ought to organize, our company, our home life, our week, our day, and even our sleep, all as a means to becoming more productive. Now go back to the question. Numerous training sessions. Now what is for numerous training sessions? Organize, home life, countless seminars and all that. They say we are told that we ought to. Do we have any word for that? We have more strategies for time management. Listen. Time management is a training session. Project management is a training session. Self-organization is a training session. So for numerous training sessions, they use the word time management, project management, self-organization. Okay? Numerous training sessions are aimed at people who feel they are not dash enough. So for that they said, exactly, our day and even our sleep, all as a means to becoming more productive. So the answer is productive. People who feel they are not productive enough, and for that they said all as a means to becoming more productive. Now encircle more, and for more they use the word enough. More productive and productive enough. Got it? More and enough. Question not enough. Abhi khatam karna hai test. Okay. Question number 36. Being organized appeals to people who regard themselves as. Now, being organized appeals to people means type of people who regard themselves as. Let's go on. Same paragraph. Okay, let's just go on. People who. Yeah. Okay, now let's see what do we need to find out. Being organized appeals to people. So just look for the word organization, organized, and all that. Which paragraph? It's the third paragraph. Okay, listen. Third paragraph. Please follow me. This rhetoric has also crept into the thinking of business leaders. Found it? Okay. And entrepreneurs, much to the delight of self-proclaimed perfectionists. Self-proclaimed. Yeah, regard themselves. These are actually synonyms. So please underline self-proclaimed. For example, when we say self-proclaimed, what other word can we use with that? Self-proclaimed intelligent person. Self-proclaimed intelligent person means a person who regards himself as an intelligent person. So self-proclaimed IELTS guru. Yeah. The person who says, मैं IELTS का गुरु हूँ, बहुत बड़ा महान हूँ, and all that, okay? We call him self-proclaimed. The person who calls himself as something. So self-proclaimed perfectionist. Come back to the question. Being organized appeals to people who regard themselves. Who regard themselves and self-proclaimed. So the answer is perfectionists. Plural. Perfectionists. Now this is part 3. So they will check your vocabulary up to that level. Many people feel dash with aspects of their work. Aspects of their work means some parts of their work. Many people feel. It's the feeling of people. Feeling or emotion. It's paragraph B. Feeling. Ironically, however. Now see that they're coming systematically. Are you there? Paragraph B. Ironically, however, the number of businesses that fail has also steadily increased. Work-related stress has increased. A large proportion of workers, please follow this. A large proportion of workers from all demographics claim to be dissatisfied with the way their work is structured and the way they are managed. So, claim to be dissatisfied and feel dissatisfied. What will be the answer? Exactly. Many people feel. Now, what is the word for feel? Claim to be. Feel and claim to be, and answer is dissatisfied. Okay? Now see that these 3 answers came in paragraph A and B. And they came all in order. So you should focus this thing first, right? Thank you. Questions 38 to 40. True, false, not. नहीं not नहीं, not तो इंग्लिश में होता है. Not given. True, false, not given. Okay, no problem. If first is true, second is false. And if first is true and the second is false, third is Talia. Very good. Okay, thank you. All right, yeah. IELTS for dummies. We make some videos. IELTS for dummies. Okay, listen. Question number 38. Both businesses and people. Now, just focus the question because you need to find a paragraph in the passage which is related to that. Both businesses and people aim at order without really considering its value. Its mean value of? No. Both businesses and people aim at order. Order means everything should be in order. So both businesses and people aim at order without really considering its value. Value of order. Value of things in order. Now just go back, look for businesses and people. Businesses and people. Paragraph E. All right. I say paragraph D. And I say third last line. The result is that businesses and people. Found it? Yes, paragraph D for doctor, third last line. The result is that businesses and people spend time and money organizing themselves for the sake of organizing rather than actually looking at the end goal and usefulness of such an effort. True. What is the question? Both businesses and people aim at order without really considering its value. Now let's read again. Without actually considering its value. The result is that businesses and people spend time and money organizing themselves. Now, what does it mean organizing themselves? That means aiming at order. Organizing is another word for order. Aim at order and organizing themselves. Let's just read on. Organizing themselves for the sake of organizing. Now they organize themselves for the sake of organizing, and then rather than actually looking at the end goal and usefulness of such an effort means organizing themselves. So what is the question? Both businesses and people aim at order without really considering its value. For without, they use the word rather. Okay, answer is true. Now listen, you are doing true false not given in part 3. Last 3 questions, so it's going to be a little more complicated. Question number 39. Innovation is most successful if people involved have distinct roles. Distinct roles mean different roles. So if people have different roles, innovation is most successful. Right? Now let's see. Let's go on. Innovation. Look for the word innovation. Paragraph F. Please follow me. Paragraph F. In fact, now the question says innovation is most successful if people involved have distinct role. Distinct means separate, different roles. So paragraph F. In fact, research shows that when innovating, the best approach is to create an environment devoid of structure and hierarchy and enable everyone involved to engage as one organic group. There they say innovation is most successful if the people involved have distinct roles. But there they say one organic group. So when they are one organic group, they have the same roles to do. Okay, so the answer is false. Question number 40. Google was inspired to adopt flexibility. All right. Google was inspired to adopt flexibility by the success of General Electric. Listen, if Google was inspired by General Electric, it was another company. Answer is true. If Google was inspired by some other company, or if General Electric was inspired by Google, then it is false. And if they don't tell us Google was inspired by which company, then the answer is not given. Now Google and General Electric, where do you find it? G, second paragraph. Wow. And by the way, if you guys rightly locate the part of the passage, you can do IELTS reading in 50 minutes. You waste your time, you read a paragraph, after that you realize answer is not here. Then you read another one, then you realize answer is not here, and you don't read third one, then you do tukka. Very intelligently, all right, this is the answer. Okay? And then you go to the next question. So if you only master one skill, that after reading the question, you reach the right part of the passage, IELTS reading will not be a problem. It's a problem when you are moving around here and there and looking for answer and you don't find that. Anyways, question number 40, Google was inspired to adopt flexibility by the success of General Electric, and that is paragraph G, third paragraph of G. In similar fashion, the former chairman of General Electric embraced disorganization, putting forward the idea of the boundaryless organization. Again, it involved breaking down the barriers between different parts of the company, encouraging virtual collaboration and flexible working. Okay? Then Google and a number of other tech companies, not General Electric. Now they are talking about Google separately. They talked about General Electric separately. It means they are not actually comparing. So Google and a number of other tech companies have embraced, at least in part, these kind of flexible structures facilitated by technology and all that. Come back to question. Google was inspired to adopt flexibility by the success of General Electric? No. They did not give any comparison. General Electric was mentioned separately. Google was mentioned separately. They did not say that Google was inspired by General Electric or General Electric was inspired by Google. Hence, the answer is not given. Okay.